1, 2, 3.
Mason's not here to...
Clap syncing is to sync audio and video together.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is no video.
Isn't there? Oh, look, there's a Millennial one now. I didn't know there's a Millennial one. I gotta get that posted.
Oh, I've got...
Is that a rotating spot now?
Yeah.
Because it was Metroid
know.
last time.
Well,
Which I got some hot stuff on Metroid to talk about. So.
Oh, yeah?
I love
Did you play... Oh, okay. Yeah, well, anyway.
I love that it's actually I Will Soul Her on the bottom there, too. That's great. All right. Anyway. Welcome to another calm and soothing episode of the Effin' Gamecast. We're your hosts here, Price, Dylan, and Nathan. And today we're on 7-minute rounds for content because we are running quite a bit behind. Price, what have you been playing this week?
Mostly, to get the small stuff out of the way, I played a lot of Overwatch 2 lately for some reason.
Ew.
I don't know why. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, and I'm probably not going to pick it up again for a long time. They, Blizzard has thoroughly butchered it into the ground. They keep just nerfing and just...
What happened?
Well,
Something about Bridget?
Like, from what I've seen, it would appear that they're trying to make it like a Fortnite, where they just keep doing cross-promotional stuff. That's all I've seen coming out of it.
Yeah, they're trying to just pull in, because they never even did that with Overwatch 1. They didn't need to. Like, One Punch Man is a big collab right now, which, of course, I'm going to love. But besides the point, wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Don't hop in. It's a cesspool. There's no reason to even call it Overwatch 2. It's Overwatch 1.5. But... beside that, mainly been playing Destiny still, of course. I've beaten the Beyond Light and Shadowkeep campaigns. Don't care anything for the story. I've really just been doing it to get the drops from it and get the powers from it. I've been watching American Dad while playing it, so I really haven't been paying that much attention to what I've been doing. But, I mean, the reason I'm playing Destiny is to play with friends, like doing something called dungeons together and raids and Grandmaster Nightfalls. And just, the group content is why I'm there. And... I'm glad that I'm there because used to League of Legends was my game to play with friends, and now I have Destiny.
So you guys have moved on from doing that.
Yeah. No, I wish.
Okay.
There's half of us, which is 3, play Destiny recreationally together. Then the other ones only play League on Thursdays with us. But one of them is just he has a girlfriend, and the other 2 have newly born
Ben?
Babies. No, Ben has just a girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't know.
Yeah. But the other 2 have kids, so we never get them except on Thursdays. But that's beside the point. The big thing I was wanting to talk about is Kelly and I played through Resident Evil 2 together.
Together?
Yeah. Well, she watched me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah,
so...
unless you guys just pass stuff controller, but I don't see her doing very well.
Yeah, every time you die, you pass the controller.
Yeah, right.
I do not understand why Resident Evil 2 Remake is seen as one of the end-all be-all remakes / games that have came out in the last couple of years.
Which one? Okay, I'm
2 is you're in the police
you're in the police academy
station that used to be an art.
And
yeah, Mr. X is chasing you around.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I couldn't remember if that was that or Nemesis. I was getting them mixed up in my head.
I truly don't understand. I besides the fact that it's to me it's a very outdated way of playing a game, because the biggest reason that I hated it is because the same reason I hate Metroidvanias. I hate going to a location, seeing that a certain type of lock or certain type of item needs to be to go in there, and then I have to travel hours away to eventually find that thing, and then travel hours to get back. That is the most shoot myself in the foot mechanic I hate in any game. There is no quicker way. I loved Ori. That is the closest I've come to do a Metroidvania style game, and because Ori the music is beautiful. I love the graphics on it. I love the art style that they went for. I love the platforming.
So
but
to
the
your
Metroidvania aspect, I abhor.
You can get behind a Metroidvania. What I'm hearing is that you can get behind it if it's traversal based, in the way that it's okay, I can't get here yet, but there's something more accomplishing whenever I get a move or a thing that improves it.
I was under the impression that the crux of a Metroidvania is that replayability, not replayability, but
you're going through the same levels, many periods of time.
The deliberate backtracking.
Right.
Backtracking.
Yes,
backtracking. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right, and I would say Ori has that. It's just the main difference is that you traverse with right. You move through it with traversal things and upgrades, rather than you just get a key.
Just the backtracking is the main thing.
Okay.
Let's just boil it down to what it is. The backtracking feels like such a waste of time, because ammo's already scarce in something like Resident Evil, and then when I find the right item, the game's oh, you have items, so we're going to raise up some zombies for you to fight now, just to artificially get your ammo count lower.
Yeah,
and I was this is so stupid. I know what the game's trying to do, and it's almost like it's talking down to me in a sense. And I was I don't want to play the other campaign. Like I played as Leon because I want to play 4 because 4 seems like the right balance between
4
what people
lets you
love Resident
indulge in
Evil
the
4
action
and then
stuff.
what I in my goblin brain like, which is like the Resident Evil 5, like macho, like
which is
punch,
hilarious,
punch, shoot,
which
shoot,
is
shoot.
universally the worst absolute example. So, case in point, Price, I would say to you really quickly, maybe you actually just don't like Resident Evils, because most of what makes why people
I love Village.
Sure. Well, okay. So let's go back to this really quickly. Is that Resident Evil in concept and why Village is such a solid, strange one, or that 7 and all of the ones that have come back post 5, right? Okay. 5 onwards, everybody unanimously says those ones are awful.
Just 5 and 6.
Yeah, 5, 6, right? 7 doesn't count, right? 7 is the remake at that point. But 5 and 6 were considered way too heavy action Michael Bay movies.
Oh, 6 was a Michael Bay movie.
Absolutely. And the only reason that those games have any sense of playability is because they're co-op games, right?
Yep.
Same screen co-op games, and that's just because we need that market. But why people, I think, have largely enjoyed Resident Evil is that sense of desperation, and they got action horror right, where it's a sense of, like, you can feel powerful at times, but it's in small bursts, and for the most times you are still a vulnerable, scared man, and they're going to put things, we want you to feel scared, but we want you to feel powerful at moments.
And it feels like the zombies themselves are absolute tanks.
Yes.
I hate that. Like, I can be, like, this close to it with a pistol, hit them right square in the head, and shoot them, and they're just like, oh.
But you didn't shoot them two more times in the head.
And then, like, I keep shooting them, and they just keep coming at me slowly. I'm like, this is a waste of time. And I keep shooting them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was hot on that. Somebody else go.
Right. I mean, if there's a difficulty setting, maybe you can just turn it down.
Right. Maybe you should slide it down to
be a more
action.
satisfying
experience. That's why, you know what? And you can't fault the game against it. It has an action focus.
But I'm playing normal. Like, I'm I would say above an average skilled gamer.
Sure.
So, like, I should be, like, normal.
I would say, like, sometimes picking a difficulty shouldn't be based on, like, how competent of a gamer you are,
right.
but just, like,
what you want out
of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want the normal experience that the devs originally intended for that game to be experienced.
Well, you don't like that, but they do have a way for you to enjoy it, and that's the easy mode. So, case in point, this is why I actually enjoy the transition of... Go ahead and put this on my time. Is why I appreciate the transition of them changing difficulty... from away from just like, you know, baby easy to like something like that, and why it's been more characterized as like story driven versus action RPG. So
yeah, the easy mode is often now called story mode.
Yes, exactly, story focused mode, right? Final Fantasy 16 is a humble brag to that. Not that it's out yet, but
I was gonna say, what info do you have?
There's because they've been dumping info left and right recently about it. And they've described in a lot of ways on like, okay, cool, their difficulties are not described as like easy or hard. It's more just story driven or story focused versus action focused on that one as well. And I'm like, okay, so I know that in my brain that's like easy or simple, but to your point, it's what you're getting experience wise out of the game. Ironically, mine is also Resident Evil, but it's not what you think. You thought Flower? No.
I thought 4.
4 remake technically, but it's actually a Village DLC. We hadn't got around to the Memories of Rose one, and I wanted to do that before we started playing 4, which what me and my buddy Mark do. Shut up, Mason. And so we started playing that DLC. And it's pretty fun. I mean, it's just mostly if you enjoyed Village and 7 and kind of like that new modern standard of it, then you're gonna like it. Yeah. But I just think it just gives me an excuse to go through the mansion again, which frankly I just enjoy. Overall, there's not really much more to write home about that as far as that goes. The story has been interesting enough. I'm curious, like we haven't finished it yet, but I'm also curious to see where this character goes, because it's this one like leftover through line in, you know, I guess the current iterations, quotation marks there for people who can't see that, for like the 7, 8 like Resident Evil verse, so to speak, to see like where it's gonna go next, because I don't fucking know. Because spoiler, in Village, again, spoiler, Ethan, our main character from 7 to 8, dies. So, you would think that we're going to be left with Rose. I don't know what's going to happen to Rose at the end of this DLC. Pending. Anyways, I haven't got a chance to play Resident Evil 4 yet. I do own it, but we got to wait till we finish the DLC before we get into that. Otherwise, what have I been playing?
Gotta go quick, because we got our other boy here.
No, I know. I hear him. He's going to eat. Let him eat. No, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate, to be specific on that one. I've been playing on that again recently, because sometimes you just got to play like something that's a little familiar on your downtime. God, it's just the best game ever. It's just the best game ever, period. Not even in contention, it is the best game ever. If you haven't played it, go play it.
I'm not a fighter guy. So
I'm not either.
But if you were a fighter guy, you would just agree. But here's the thing. You want to go into mash buttons? Perfect for you. You want to sit there and be somebody who's like not like... I think that Marvel honestly does have the appeal of like the casual, like if a person who doesn't like fighting games plays something like Smash Brothers, right? Where they can kind of just fuck around, smash buttons, and see big, powerful things go off.
And, like, pick characters they recognize.
Right, pick characters that they recognize from franchises that they enjoy, and doing things in that one. I think it has all that same appeal with it, but it's actually a fighting game. So if you want to actually be good at it, great. If you want to just leap off a stage or something like that, like Smash Brothers, like whatever. But I think the biggest thing for me is always just going back to, like, the comeback factor, because some fighting games don't like it, some things do, but in Ultimate Marvel, there's a thing called X Factor, right? So you hit all 4, like, the face buttons, and then boom, your character glows red, and then you get, like, a power-up, and you move faster, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff that you couldn't do on, like, regular versions of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a 3x3 game, right? So if you're, like, the last character left and you activate it, you're fucking juiced. You could just kill teams in, like, just 3 or 4 hits. It's sick. A lot of people actually kind of hate it, but I think it's just super cool. And it lets you just feel really powerful, and I like that. I like games that make you feel very strong. Which ironically is ironic since we're playing Resident Evil a lot recently, and they make you often feel the opposite. So until like the last 20% of the game, and then you're somewhere between Rambo of zombies and
and you just have every weapon
and God, right? Somewhere between those two spectrums. But otherwise, I'm just still grinding for Final Fantasy trading card game. So you were not going to expect a whole lot from me on this anyway, Nathan.
So biggest main game that I've played and finished up is Fire Emblem Engage.
Mm-hmm. Did they finally get engaged?
What did you think? Did they engage?
I am so disappointed with that game.
Did you watch that video I sent?
Yeah.
Sent you?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm here to like take you out. It was like, you kill him. And it was like, oh, come back again.
So, like, I've been kind of like putting ratings on my spreadsheet where I'm keeping track of games that I've played. I gave it a 6.5. One of the lowest scores I've given anything so far this year.
That's a fair score, though.
It's almost entirely because of the story. The story's that bad and made me that frustrated with the entire experience that it soured the whole thing.
Yes, I could not agree more.
It's the worst story I've ever seen them do, for sure.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I haven't played every single one of them. Maybe there's one that you've played that is worse, but for me, it's definitely the worst story I've ever seen in a Fire Emblem game.
It's rough.
I
do like how you're a zombie.
Yeah, no.
No. I mean, that's like, cool.
Oh, my main character's afraid of these things, and he gets turned into one. Like, so lame. Everything. There's so much like contrived stuff and so many moments in this story where you feel like, did I miss something? I don't think I missed something, but it feels like I missed something.
I love that storytelling.
There's this whole thing where you've got this sister and you run into her a couple of different times and they act like they're best fucking buds whenever they come to like start butting heads finally. And thinking back on it, I was like, I just ran into her like in the woods for like 2 seconds. Like once or twice before this moment, and suddenly we're like good friends. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because your guy's just like a Mary Sue. He's just like loves everybody, like,
and there's forgives everybody. Yeah, and like could easily be betrayed by anybody because he will just let anyone into his group. Like, oh, you were part of the core of the bad guys. That's fine, come on.
You're the CEO of Bad Guy Inc. Yeah, we can hire you.
And all of the villains having these tragic backstories that are so cliche and lame.
So stupid. Like,
we call it the Demon Slayer effect nowadays. So as you start to kill them, you're like, well, now I feel bad for me.
It really detracted from what could have been a pretty satisfying game. That being said, also, as much as the gameplay was pretty fun, a lot of the work that you had to put in on the characters was too much work, I think. Like, raising your bonds with all the different rings in order to get the abilities and have them learned via, like, SP
I would take that over teaching, though.
I mean, yeah, but I just think it takes too much time.
Have you tried making a good system for that? Fire Emblem?
Like, it wouldn't be that bad if you didn't, like... If in most missions you weren't bringing 15 plus people onto the battlefield, it's like, do I want to build up every single one of these characters that are going to be out here? No. Right. I'm going to build up like 1 or 2 of them. because it just takes.
Oh, so we're going
time.
back to Pokemon rules at that point, then, right? Or you're picking your. This is like old school Pokemon
rules. You're like you're picking your favorites and building them up, and then everybody else is fodder.
Yeah. They're cannon fodder.
Yeah, it had so much potential, and I was enjoying the fact that it was really easy to recruit everybody, and it wasn't like going to have you playing through over and over and over again, which, I mean, in other times I might find that something that I would want. Mm-hmm. Like, I know Chris has been playing through 3 houses, like, I think 3 or 4 times now. And
as you gotta do. Yeah, I did. I went through all 3.
Which I still think it's crazy that I played through the one path that didn't go to the techno dubstep music
world.
Yeah. And
was that
my experience of that game was that it was pretty traditional in like medieval era, like high fantasy. Did not expect that there was like machinery and nuclear missiles and stuff like that hidden underneath the hood of that game.
And I love that you just face tank those on the tail end too. Like before you're dealing with arrows and then they'll die occasionally, but then they're launching missiles at you and in game like your characters are like, oh, you know, and then they're like, I'm gonna hit you with my hammer now.
But yeah, I mean that's the main thing. There's several other little games, but I won't go into all of them. It's like a bunch of like Vampire Survivor style games.
What's your standout in the small game category for you?
Well, I played Monument Valley 1 and 2. They're like they're a puzzle game that I think originally actually came out as like an app game back in the day, but there's versions of them that were released on PC that were like kind of made to look really nice. And it's a very satisfying puzzle game. It's like what is the artist, like MC Escher, the one that like does the drawings where it's like a bunch of impossible like staircases that like move into each other in ways that can't make sense.
Right.
Yeah. It's if you played a puzzle game that's what it is. And there's so many moments where you're looking at the, like, you know how you can look at like a bunch of cubes, and if you look at it the right way, like some of them will look like they're either popped out or popped in. You're literally having to do that, looking at the screen, looking at your character, trying to figure out where you can send them, as like you walk through a door and suddenly you're like upside down and at a different angle, and then you got to look at the world from that perspective to figure out where the ground is now.
That sounds neat, but in execution it like as a video game it feels like if the controls aren't very well coordinated, it could drive me up.
So I mean, it's like I said, it was an app originally, so it's just like a simple point and click kind of thing. All right. So it's not like. But
then I think that also takes, like, if you go too simple, it takes kind of some of the fun out of it, though. But if it's a puzzle game, to your point,
I think it strikes the right note. Like, I think it's very satisfying, visually really appealing. The puzzles are complex, but not so complex that you ever have to stop and look up anything. Like, you'll get through it just fine.
So just a smidge less hard than Resident Evil puzzles every now and again.
Yeah. The only bad thing I'd say about it is that the first one is far and away better than the second one. The second one is actually way too easy. Yeah. To where it's just not, it doesn't end up actually being all that fun. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Cool. Well, anyway, guys, that's going to be our very quick little snack bite.
Yeah, you got it.
There we go. Sized episode. Bite size. There we go. Yeah, snack size.
Both of them work.
But I was trying to use... Okay, you heard what I was trying to do. The small episode of the Effing Gamecast. Again, we're your hosts, Bryce, Dylan, and Nathan. And you know what? I hope that you guys are enjoying the content we're putting out, even if it's a little quick episode. Go ahead and show us some little love if you can. Make sure to hit us in the comments below with that big old thumbs up on the way up, and then make sure to hit the bell. I won't do it on this one. You go to the movie channels for that one, because it's not the same
for that
as you
action.
See it. Yeah, you gotta see it.
Yeah.
You hear that loud.
Oh.
I mean, that's the clap sync.
It really is.
At the end of the video.
It is. Nathan clap syncs based on the very infrequent of this one. Anyway, we will make sure to catch you guys next time, and until then, I hope you have a very lovely weekend. Goodbye.
Mason, we missed you!
Mason, get in here, you cow!
We want hot shots. We want hot shots.